I can confidently say that Hiryu The Fire Dragon is the worst kaiju film that you haven't seen. How do I know that you haven't seen this movie or even heard of it? Well, that's because it only has 102 views on YouTube. This movie, if you can even call it that, was directed by me. Well, me at the age of 11. It was my very first short film and my attempt at making something as both a filmmaker but also just a little kid experimenting with the medium of stop motion. You see, I'm uploading this video on July 23rd, 2024, which just so happens to be the 10-year anniversary of this movie being posted. This video is really just me looking back on a garbage movie that I made in 5th grade, and it probably appeals to absolutely no one, but who cares? I was just a dumb little kid, so let's make fun of this attempt at creatively expressing myself. This is Hiryu The Fire Dragon. Right off the bat, the film hilariously starts out with a copyright warning where I claim copyright and ownership over 3 monsters: Hiryu, Elasmosaurus Prime, and the Guardian. Why did I do this? Well, I was very familiar with Toho's strict copyright attitude towards Godzilla, and I wanted to sort of like emulate it because I just assumed that that was how the industry worked. After 20 seconds of studio logos, we finally get to the title card, which is an attempt by me to emulate the title card to the 2014 Godzilla movie. Only difference is they're using professional software and I'm using Windows Movie Maker. 13 seconds later, we actually get to see some of the stop motion, and yeah, I had no idea what I was doing. It becomes immediately clear that I didn't have the camera locked down on a tripod. The focus isn't set. In fact, I didn't even have it on a tripod, period. I remember just setting it up on a bunch of boxes and calling it a day. It's all incredibly awkward and amateur, but again, I was 11 years old. Now's a good time to talk about the main monster, Hiryu. In case it wasn't blatantly obvious, little kid me just took Kiryu from Godzilla and changed the K to an H. My reasoning behind this was that Kiryu was Japanese for mechanical dragon, and Hiryu was Japanese for fire dragon. So when you translate the title, it's Fire Dragon, the Fire Dragon. The monster itself doesn't actually resemble a dragon at all. It's more of a cyclops with the body of burning Godzilla. Sort of. I actually used a Bionicle as the main armature. From there, I wrapped clay around each individual joint and then sculpted it from there. The hands and legs were from a Lego Iron Man figure, while the head was from a Lego Hulk figure. Getting back to the riveting story, Hiryu destroys a military base and the government covers it up, blaming the attack on terrorists. Just terrorists, there's no group mentioned, which is funny that little kid me would just think of that. Later in Japan, Hiryu battles a kaiju-sized Elasmosaurus. The Mandarin's boat from Lego Iron Man 3 then just plows right into Hiryu. After that, half the civilians just disappear along with the trees and the Elasmosaurus. I genuinely have no idea what I was even trying to do here. If I remember correctly, the idea was that the Elasmosaurus was eating people in the trees as well, so he then digs underground and escapes. The Mandarin's boat is supposed to be a military vehicle, kind of like the Gotengo. Of course, none of this is actually communicated to the audience. I'm just relaying this to you because I kind of remembered making it. We then jump to Florida, where the Elasmosaurus chases down an old man trying to eat him, before a character on horseback arrives and fights the dinosaur. Landing several shots with his weapon, the dinosaur then eats the man's horse and tail whips him, and then the monster disappears. A giant goat appears for 1 second, but it's scared off by a military helicopter. And then the Elasmosaurus suddenly just reappears and begins eating the soldiers. We then jump to North Dakota at a military base where the Elasmosaurus begins destroying military vehicles. Hiryu appears to fight it, but then all of a sudden, a giant skull appears, and a being known as the Guardian transforms from the skull in the form of an ankylosaur. The Guardian fights Hiryu and the Elasmosaurus, killing the latter. The Guardian then swings its tail one last time and decapitates Hiryu, before destroying the head with its fire breath. The film then cuts to credits, where I hilariously credited my younger brother as Turd816, and I claimed that the film was sponsored by massive companies like Hobby Lobby and Dell, when in actuality, I bought the clay from Hobby Lobby, and the computer that I used to edit this was a Dell computer. Obviously, this is pure garbage and is more of a YouTube video than a real movie. However, it's really fun looking back and seeing how far I've come as both a YouTuber and a filmmaker. If I didn't make Hiryu the Fire Dragon, I very likely wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. A very small part of me really wants to revive Hiryu and remake this into something that's, actually worth watching, but I don't know. I did make more stop motion shorts like these. For example, I made a Jurassic Park one that was titled Jurassic Park Code Red, and it's just as bad as Hiryu, if not worse. I also made a Terminator vs. Alien video that's equally as bad, and the biggest finished stop motion project that I did was Kaiju, which used Knifehead from Pacific Rim as the lead monster. This was also one of the first times where I tried to voice act, and it was horrendously bad. All right, really quick. I'm editing this video. It is 1:45 a.m. I am dead tired, but it turns out that the original version of Kaiju is gone, at least the version that I remember it. So apparently I must have used like copyrighted music or something, because in the YouTube version, this is now the music. And this is obviously, copyright-free music that's just in the YouTube audio library. So the part where I actually talked was right here. It was like a character giving like a press conference, and that was me talking. That's gone now, for better or for worse. So unfortunately, no. You will not be able to hear 11-year-old me trying to voice act because it's gone. It's lost media. I actually don't know if this was on YouTube's part or if this was me at a time that I just don't remember, just, subbing in new music. I don't know. But yeah, this is gone. So it kind of sucks. Kaiju actually got around 2,000 views on my old YouTube channel because of its awful clickbait thumbnail. My favorite comment was from Sir Squeaks-a-Lot, and they said, "This is absolute trash," which, yeah, it's absolute trash. My last stop motion project like this was a Transformers short, which went unfinished. I realized that the time I was putting in just wasn't worth it, since the movies I liked and was trying to emulate didn't use Lego figures. They used real actors. So I spent a very, very long time gradually learning how to be that type of filmmaker. Obviously, I'm not saying that stop motion animators aren't filmmakers. They definitely are. I just wanted to make stuff that I personally wanted to make. And I did. Early on, I made a zombie movie, some horror shorts, and a tribute to Godzilla. It wasn't until my senior year of high school that I decided to approach it on a more professional level. So I made this very channel, as well as my first short film, Firewood. I then made westerns, sci-fi, heists, and of course, horror. And that is the story of Hiryu the Fire Dragon, but also my beginnings as a filmmaker. If you'd like to watch Hiryu, then there's a link down in the description, and if you want to see some of my actual movies, then you can check out Firewood Media 101, a playlist that showcases our best work here. If you couldn't tell, I have a cold, so I'm genuinely sorry about that. I really wanted to get this video out by the 10-year anniversary, so I'm filming this on Monday, and it's going to be out on Tuesday. I'm Cole McCormick. You're watching Firewood Media, and I will see you in the next one.